Let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Um, I am Nav. I'm the CTO and CEO of Green Story, and I'm here to present today, Green Story's sustainability platform. So Akhil and I, my other co-founder, we started Green Story about 7 years back. And our main aim for starting Green Story was to, doing life cycle assessments for small and medium-sized brands in a much more quicker and intuitive way, so that they don't have to spend tens of thousands of dollars in getting a consulting firm and doing LCAs because it was so expensive. So over the years, we built in offline tools where you can do a product LCA within less than 10 minutes to an hour, depending on how much primary data you have. And then over the years, we realized that okay, at the end, it's not just the LCA which client wants, but also want to control how they collect data and see the results and modify those results as they make improvements in the supply chain. And this led us to the current system, which provides lifecycle assessments on the web as a SaaS tool and makes it much more easy and comprehensive for brands to do lifecycle assessment. Right. So what is Green Story? So it's an end-to-end sustainability platform focused on fashion industries. Core of the platform is life cycle assessment, which is highly accurate and scalable. It then combines with our supplier traceability solution, where you can identify the suppliers, collect primary data, and then actually feed that data into the system to get accurate results. It also has a communication module, which all these good stuff which the brands have been doing can then finally be communicated to consumers in beautiful visuals which they can understand and appreciate. And then that finally combines with other efforts which you are doing in terms of improving the supply chain with offsetting efforts, like you can do carbon offsets for the stuff which you cannot reduce in the near term, and also do a lot of eco contributions such as planting trees and other stuff to provide a holistic approach to impact reduction. All right, so in terms of that's what we have been doing over the last few years, and the main issue we have been addressing is how can brands engage in environmental improvement while branding, keeping their brand appeal and still engaging customers. So that has been the sort of core of our solutioning around this issue. And so what we have developed is a host of tools in the platform which provides brands at each step in their eco-friendly transformation a way to either measure their footprint, improve it, communicate to consumers, and then also do other kind of sustainability efforts towards that goal. And we partner with a lot of fashion innovators and other companies such as IBM and other traceability solutions to provide a holistic solution which can not only do product sustainability but company sustainability, carbon footprinting, every single kind of thing. All right. So this basically brings me to our exciting part where I'll probably give you an overview of our very core features, and I'll take you through a walkthrough of our system in action, how it works. So as I mentioned, the core of our platform is the product LCA. The product LCA provides you system of pre-built supply chains, which provides data profiles and a full template chain, which has all the different phases like manufacturing, use phase, end of life. So it becomes very easy for anybody to quickly customize the chain as per the primary data which they have or they are collecting, and then come up with a very quick product footprint. We have pre-built chains for almost all fashion products, from apparel to footprint to textiles. You can customize these with your primary supplier's primary data and come up with reports for a variety of reporting standards such as ISO 14044, which is for a de facto standard, but all the new ones such as European PEF, ISO 14067, just for reporting your carbon footprint of the product, and a variety of EPDs. Once you have these results, you can also use it to measure future improvements in your supply chain as you make design changes or supplier changes. At each point of time, you can quickly see, okay, what's the new footprint look like? Is it better than the last one? So you can make all those decisions in real time towards improving your product's footprint. And this is all supported with a variety of third-party and Green Story proprietary data sets, which are highly accurate, vetted, and coming from our global network of suppliers. And in case you don't have, if you need help in collecting the primary data, we have a team of LC experts right at Green Story, which can guide you in terms of how to collect the data from suppliers and even directly get in touch with suppliers to get the data for a particular process which Green Story might not have or for which you need primary data. Right. So the product footprint is an iterative process, right? It requires, sometimes it can take, months or weeks, weeks or months to collect that data from your suppliers. So you need to first identify your suppliers, where they're located, where their facilities are located, which specific processes they are using in terms of, let's say, which kind of knitting, which kind of weaving, which kind of dyeing they are doing. You need to collect data, on the electricity and fuel mixes which they're using, because it has a significant impact in terms of the footprint. What chemicals they're using, what is the amount of those. So there's tons of primary data, including some of the consumer surveys you might need to do, to accurately measure the use phase and end of life of your product, right? So the main thing is that this can take months on end. We have seen even sometimes it has taken a year for some of our clients to collect all this data. And while this is being done, you don't want to wait, to see the footprint of your product, right? You want to see the footprint with the data which you have, right? So the Green Story system provides that flexibility. It's an iterative process. So at any point of time, you can have the footprint ready with whatever data you have. So as you see here, it starts with a very simple, pre-built template which use global data and the most industry average data for each part of the component of your chain. And as you progress and get more and more primary data around your products, suppliers, manufacturing processes, the footprint becomes more and more accurate. And once the whole chain is fully customized with primary data, your footprint will be most accurate. But this can take years, and during that time, or months, and during that time, you can still keep on calculating the footprint and communicating to your stakeholders. And the best part is that we have an amazing team of LC experts to help you through all this process. As I mentioned, of communicating with suppliers, giving you guidance in terms of how to collect this data, which process to collect data on, and then finally come up with a real-time accurate footprint for your supply chain. And once you have the footprint, one of the key things which you want to do is figure out where you can make improvements. All right, and this is one of the key tools which I'm really excited about. We are still working on this tool, and it's probably a month away in terms of launch. But I think this will be a real game changer in terms of making some short-term improvements on your supply chain, and then making a long-term strategy in where do you want to focus on, right? So this is a highly interactive and visual tool, as you can see. You can zoom in or zoom out to the level which you want in terms of looking at the hotspots. So you can look at hotspot at your life cycle stages of, whether it's at a use phase or manufacturing which you want to improve, or you can drill down to a process level and figure out which specific process is contributing to the footprint. Right. So this is like a real-time view of the screen, how it would be. So as you can see, it quickly tells you, the distribution of the footprint and whether a particular category of a life cycle stage is high or low, and you need to focus on that. You can do footprints based on different reporting standards, or different reporting standards have stuff like, okay, if any process or any of the life cycle stages above or below a certain threshold in terms of percentage, you have to report it. So it provides all of that pre-built right here. You can do hotspot based on different impact categories like climate change or blue water consumption, different life cycle stages in terms of granularity, or go to a component level, such as fabric or fiber, or even go to a process level within that component. You can decide to do just the hotspot analysis to cradle to gate, which is typically what most brands have fully control on, or you can go to full cradle to gray, which includes use with an end of life, where you have some way of changing or I would say enhancing the consumer's behavior in how they use and dispose of your product. You can also change the contribution thresholds so that if something doesn't directly confine to a reporting standard, but you have your own criterias of what will be a high impact and what you really want to focus on. You can do all those changes in this hotspot. So I think it will be a really, really game changer in terms of how you can really capture those low hanging fruits and then focus on the long term in where you want to focus your efforts on in terms of reducing your product's environmental footprint. And a complementary aspect to that is comparative analysis of your footprint. So as you know, most of us want to see or benchmark ourselves with the industry, how far ahead we are compared to the industry averages in terms of our own products footprint. So this tool obviously helps you do that, which a lot of our clients are already doing. But what we're introducing with this new effort is actually measuring your products supply chain or supply chain's performance against the best in class. So for every single component, you can figure out what will be how much more further you can improve compared to your already existing supply practices or processes. So for example, this is one of the comparisons for a t-shirt for a climate change impact category. And I can see this is your current t-shirts footprint against different components which it is using. And then there's 3 comparisons which are available. One is the global comparison, which is typically if a t-shirt has been made globally, using trade data, then what would the footprint be? This will be typically, your footprint would be typically lower than the global average. But it doesn't tell you anything major because global uses a lot of different geographies. They have different electricity grids and everything. So there's no real comparison. So the real comparison is typically when you compare the identical supply chain. What the identical supply chain means is that it has the same suppliers and supplier locations as your current suppliers, but the actual practices and processes put in this one are the industry average. So if your supplier is using a better process than the industry average, your footprint will be lower. And if they're using a worse process than the industry average, your footprint would be higher. And then you can make a call, okay, where you stand in terms of those practices. And the final one, which will be a game changer, is the sustainable alternate. So our team of experts got down and they figured out for every single process what will be the best in class alternate which is available in the industry today, and then we create a footprint based on that best in class processes using the same supplier locations. And then this gives you okay, your footprint can be further improved by this amount, or it can be further improved by that much percentage. So you can make a real call in terms of how you want to improve your footprint, and then combine with hotspot to really make a good judgment call as to where you want to put your in setting efforts in terms of supply chain. Moving next to the traceability, another key complementary feature of our platform. So all of this requires a lot of supplier data, right? So what our platform allows is to upload all your supplier list which you have identified, visualize them in a globe so you can see where your supply chains are coming from, and upload all the documentation related to the suppliers in one place, be it certificates, reports, audits, data regarding a particular process, data which the supplier might have provided. So everything can be stored in one place. And once everything is mapped for a supply chain, this is a result which you will see on our system. So this is a typical supply chain for a t-shirt, which is made of cotton polyester. And as you can see, each part of the product, from t-shirt, fabric, yarn, fiber, granulate, has been mapped to a particular supplier. And once this is done, you can quickly calculate the footprint as well, but you can also see in a visual way how your supply chain is looking, where your supplier is located, So if you are using any other, traceability solution which calculates risk based on other varieties such as geography and all, you can combine that and come up with a very accurate traceability approach to your supply chain, and then make improvements not just in terms of environmental performance, but other factors such as social and governance related issues which might be there. This brings us to our next, important piece, which is the communicating all of this to your customers. And this is where we actually Green Story started. So our very first module, which we built as a SaaS module, was our communication module, which basically integrates with almost all the e-commerce systems and shows the results of your either the footprint or the comparisons, how better your product is against the industry. To the customer. And this solution basically integrates at every step of the customer's journey, right from the product to the cart, to the order, to post-purchase emails, and offline via QR code. So you can tell your story to the customer anyway and anytime you want. And if you have a custom solution, like custom e-commerce system, then we have APIs which directly integrate with your solution, which you can either pull the data or push the data back into your system, so you can communicate that story which you have painstakingly built over the last few years in terms of sustainability. So this is one of the key solutions which I'm really proud of, and I think there are a variety of ways which it can be used. It can be fully customized to match the visuals of your brand or of your e-commerce store, so it feels completely seamless as to what you are showcasing. And also it provides a lot of data back to the brand as how our customers are perceiving all these things which you are doing based on how they are looking at this data, how many emails they are reading, what clicks they are doing. So it's a very informative tool at the end of the day. And last but not the least, one of the key features which we again built over the last few years based on feedback from our customers was around one was carbon offsetting. So a lot of our clients wanted to do beyond whatever they couldn't reduce. Okay, what can they do around that? And that's where we came up with this offsetting tool, which is much more precise compared to some of the which are out in the market. So what we do is based on customers' actual address, it calculates the exact distribution used with an end of life footprint for your product, and then compensates that product footprint based on the carbon offset projects which you have chosen based on your company's goals, your supply chain locations, so that it has the most impact to the communities where you are producing or manufacturing your product. But it goes beyond carbon. So you might decide that, okay, one is carbon offsetting, but you want to contribute, you want to take out plastic from the ocean, or you want to plant trees for your products. Some of our clients even, do meals per order or per product, sold. So all of those eco contributions can be, used or can be done with our system, and it can again, beautifully visualized. I think I'm missing a slide, but yeah, it can be beautifully visualized to the supplier. Sorry, to the company. Give me 1 sec. I think I missed my slide here. Let's see if I can get the slideshow back again. 1 sec, please. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. Right. So this, all these features kind of lay out the whole platform which Green Story has. And what I'll do now is do a quick demo of the actual system in running. So what we've done is we have recorded a video because it combines sort of all the other features of our system together, some of the which are existing and the upcoming features out there. So let me run through the whole platform here. All right, so what we have is once you log in, you will pretty much land on this dashboard, which will tell you, all the different products, SKU suppliers, which you might have added in the system, how many warehouses, because we also do use with an end of life. It also gives you a quick snapshot, whether, how many products you have done the footprint of, and how many components you have customized with primary data or global suppliers. So a host of analytics information which is out there. And then basically you land on the product listing screen where all the products which you've added or which your company sells would be listed here in this fashion. It provides a lot of information. You will use the add product to actually add the product. You can also use bulk uploads to upload in bulk, hundreds of products in one go. But this is an example of typical information which is required to add a product, whether it's single or a variant. Again, all the different product categories are available, which then basically based on the category you choose, it will load the template supply chain, which can then be further customized. And a lot of defaults are available in the system. So based on, for example, once you select a department, it gives a default weight of the T-shirt, which can then be customized by your company based on the exact measurement of that T-shirt. So once a supply chain is there, this is a fully customized supply chain of the T-shirt, which I was just mentioning. We have pre-done this before. So here you'll see the fully supply chain out there with all the suppliers attached here. You can do a lot of stuff from here. You can replace the supply chain, replace suppliers, all of that stuff. And this is the actual map view of your supply chain, which is visible here, which gives a lot of information. Again, you can do a lot of filtering from the map view. So let's see how we can actually put in primary data for a particular particular component, in this case fabric. So there are a lot of let me pause the video here. A lot of different stuff which is available. So typical all the fabric making processes, knitting, weaving, dyeing, finishing, everything is available. And then first thing you can do is select which specific process your supplier is doing, right? So are they doing circular knitting, flat knitting, warp knitting? We have data for all of those different kind of knitting, same for weaving. And then you can select whether your particular product is being dyed or finished. And then same thing, which dyeing techniques are they using, which finishing techniques are they using. So all of that can be selected and then basically added to the supply chain. Once that is done, you can also update the actual primary data of that particular process. So that particular process, would be there with pre-built primary data from GreenStory, based on either secondary or our proprietary data sets which we have built with suppliers. But then you are able to actually update that data based on the primary data which you have collected from your supplier. So I think yeah. So sec. Yeah, so you can actually edit, electricity grids, whether they're using renewable energy or they're using, how much amount of electricity they're using. We also put in ranges. So in case if it's going above and beyond a typical range, the system will warn you, okay, this looks like above or below normal range. So you can then double check with the suppliers as to what is happening. And once all of this is done, basically you can calculate the footprint. This is the footprint page where you can see footprints for different reporting standards. So in this case, we are showing the ISO 14067 for all the different categories. And then you can do a lot of stuff around drilling down the footprint. So basically then you can drill down into each of the footprint categories by components, by suppliers, by different life cycle stages. And basically pinpoint the footprint. There's a pre-built hotspot right here if you want to see. So everything is color coded. But if you want to do a quicker hotspot or a much more deeper hotspot, you can actually go to the hotspot tag. In this one, you see the comparisons based on what I showed on you quickly earlier. You can see the graph comparison between your supply chain, identical supply chain, sustainable alternate. To see how far ahead or behind you are across different impact categories. Yeah, this is the one where you can see the actual, the global, the identical supply chain, and the sustainable alternates. for your product against each of the impact categories. So you can choose climate change. Some of our clients focus on blue water consumption because that's their goal, to reduce the water consumption in their supply chain, and the hotspot, which I already showed you earlier, which you can focus on. So you can look at the contribution share for different items and look at the different pie charts around that. As explained, yeah, you can change the life cycle stages. You can do cradle to gate and then come back to the supply chain to show how we can do some change in the supply chain. So let's say you want to replace the supply chain with a different component, which you have already customized, or you want to use something different from Green Story. So what you'll do is you will go here and search the component and then select one of them. So in this case, let's select recycled polyester and conventional cotton. There you go, and we'll submit this. So what will happen is another chain gets automatically attached to the product, and because this was already pre-customized, you'll see a different set of suppliers here, which because you might have used this conventional cotton polyester chain for some other product. So now you can reuse it pretty quickly. You don't have to do any more effort, and then recalculate the footprint for this modified supply chain in the same way. You'll get all the different details around that. So there's a lot of things you can scale up, because everything which you have stored is now stored in different libraries. So every single supply chain, every single component, all the different use phase profiles, end of life profiles. So you can reattach them to your new products, because a lot of times the suppliers are going to be same. You're going to be selling in the same geographies. You're going to use the same warehouses. So a lot of reuse is possible, which allows you to quickly scale up for thousands of products or thousands of SKUs which you might have in the system. And as I mentioned, there's a bulk upload functionality, so you can bulk upload suppliers, bulk upload products, bulk upload product variants, a lot of stuff if you have thousands of items to work on. And this brings us to the all the communication aspect. So this is our client ADAM's website, where they have embedded our matrix right on the shopping cart or on the product page. So you can see whatever was calculated there shows up right here in terms of actuals, which is a scientific metric which was calculated, and equivalence, which is more what the customers understand. They're also doing offset, so they're able to showcase where and how, which offset projects they are supporting. So it provides a very visual and interactive way for consumers to use this information. And that brings us to the end of our quick real-time video on what our platform is capable of. And to summarize, basically what we do is it's an end-to-end system. So you can map every single part of your product system to journey through Green Story's platform, starting with calculating your product's footprint from end to end, raw materials to end of life, using our accurate data which is sourced from third party and primary data, and then make informed decisions by using our hotspot analysis and comparative analysis tools, and create your plan on how you want to improve the environmental performance of your product. And Green Stories, experts are there every step of the way, help you guide on how to use this tool, get data from suppliers, what kind of data collection tools you might need, and even talk to suppliers to gather data for you. And even as landscapes change, new regulations and standards come, our experts are there right every time to help you guide with those new standards and new tools as they're evolving. Pretty much every other month there is some new standard or a new regulation which comes up. So we are there to guide you, and then communicate all of this to your customers, so you can really tell the story across the customer's shopping experience with the Green Story platform. Thank you.